On the very first day of class, this teacher had the students tear up their textbooks, leaving everyone stunned, thinking it was a joke. The next moment, the teacher pulled out a trash can in motion for them to throw the torn pages inside. A bold student was the first to comply, and the others quickly followed, filling the classroom with the sound of ripping paper. John explained that real poetry couldn't be mechanically interpreted like a math formula. It had to be felt with the heart. He even insisted that the students not call him teacher, but instead captain. Faced with such a strange request, the class couldn't help but laugh, but John spoke to them with deep sincerity.
We don't read and write poetry because it's cute. We read and write poetry because we are members of the human race, and the human race is filled with passion. Medicine, law, business, engineering, these are noble pursuits. But poetry, beauty, romance, love, these are what we stay alive for.
This was, after all, the all-boys school with the highest college acceptance rate in America, where every teacher prided themselves on molding elite students. Yet John went against the grain, encouraging his students to break free and discover the meaning of life. Standing at the podium, he told them, when you learn to look at things in a different way, you'll make discoveries you never imagined. The students grew curious about this teacher's background. Upon researching, they found that John had once been a student at the same school. He had even founded something called the Dead Poets Society. A group of intrigued students approached him for an explanation. John told them it was a club he had formed with like-minded romantics. Back in his day, they would gather in an ancient cave, taking turns reciting poetry and feeling the pulse of life deep in nature. Inspired, the students secretly revived the Dead Poets Society. There they experienced the power of poetry for the first time, each finding their own voice. Usually timid, a student closed his eyes at John's encouragement and improvised a stunning poem, earning applause from his peers. John didn't just teach them poetry, he taught them how to think for themselves. One day, he had 3 students walk around the courtyard, each starting off independently, but without realizing it, their steps fell into sync. John stopped them and said, "See how easy it is to conform, but how hard it is to keep your own stride. You must believe that your beliefs and your walk are uniquely yours." These words deeply moved Neil, who loved acting. He boldly auditioned for a play and landed the lead role. But Neil's strict father was furious when he found out, forcing him to quit and even deciding to send him to military school. In despair, Neil took his own life on the night of his triumphant performance. After the tragedy, the school blamed John entirely. Under pressure from the headmaster, most students were forced to sign statements accusing John's teaching methods of causing the tragedy. John was ultimately fired. As he walked out of the classroom for the last time, Todd, once so timid, suddenly stood up and shouted, "Captain,
Captain, my captain!"
And even as the headmaster threatened expulsion, more and more students rose, paying tribute to the teacher who had changed their lives. With tears in his eyes, John smiled, knowing he had ignited a spark of thought in these young minds.
Thank you, boys.